That's a 100 durability knife. Should be able to get away with a knife if they are just marauders. But yeah, let's keep in mind that my goal is not to actually fight the marauders, it's to get to the end of the cave. Admittedly though, this place is confusing as shit. Among other things though, I think the takeaway was that hugging a wall does work in this place's case, I think. Which is good to know. Shit. Cool. I don't think I even dodged that. I think I was just... Well, I mean, I technically dodged it. But I don't think I altered the trajectory at all. I think there's just a maximum range. Ow. Ow. God damn. Oh, that's a decent amount of cash. Wow. Yeah, that's like 3,000 each. I'm pressing quick save way too often, but I'm just so likely to instantly die and have to start this whole thing over if one thing goes wrong. Pretty sure the darkness is irrelevant to my progress. It's just... I was a little worried there might be a guy just hanging out in that direction that would like come up behind me, ambush me. I don't want that. Right now, the most deadly thing is surprises. That's a dead end. This is such a strange, spooky setting. Red soil's not too unusual. That's not really the weird part. It's just a weird nightmare labyrinth with no effort made to help you navigate it. Like, whoever built this place must have had the tunnels memorized. Because it's just not the safest thing to not be able to navigate out, really. There we go, I found it. Is my inventory full? Of course it is. Wow. Really did a good job barricading this thing, didn't they? Look at that. The entire barricaded place is just one thin layer of rocks at the top you can clearly see through. It's a more impressive barrier from the top. When you're up there, it looks believable. When you're down here, it's embarrassing if you look up at it. It's like, oh, there's a tiny singular layer of rocks floating in the air. At least when you see it from above, as far as you can tell, it seems to go all the way down. Probably because, in part, because of the fact that, when you look at it, everything below it's darkness. Whereas if I look up at it, everything above it is lightness. So the gaps are highlighted. Shit, you... They were really douchebags about this. Like, I hope they're better at encounter design when they make the sequel. Like, there's too many instances of just the douchiest possible knife throwers in this game that just comically obliterate you. Like, it shouldn't be possible to be that deadly. Because the knife thrower is specifically, like in these cases in particular, like it's like the time I left Notkin's place and it instantly got knife thrown in the face. I'm like, okay, come on. Like, no human can react to that in time. I have to die. Like, there's situations where you have to die first, then go back and adapt based on how you died. Like, you would never react naturally in a way that would avoid the death. Your only saving grace is just having a bunch of health already. This guy in particular, the first time around, he really seemed like he was preemptively throwing his knife even before I turned the corner, like he was scripted. He knew I was coming. More organs for the pile. I'm going to get so many weeds based on your death. Do you think it was worth it? It's a dead end, isn't it? He was guarding nothing. Cool. Why didn't they leave yet? They ran for the townsfolk and came down here. Cool. I gotcha. Get you so far. Townsfolk buried them down here. Okay. Now they're all divided and separate. Did they do a let's split up, gang? To navigate the tunnels? I guess maybe none of them have found the exit. Although that's some crazy timing because one of them was right there when I got to the exit. So it sucks to be that guy. Hey, corpses. I guess I know where I am now. Yeah, I killed one of them right when I walked in, so he either couldn't get out because he couldn't figure out how to open the exit, or he was literally finding it right at that moment, and I happened to come in and we fight to the death. It is fortunate that you came to see me, my good Master Burke. There is a matter of great importance for us to discuss. It has something to do with a man who is known to be very involved with you, a man to have spoken in your defense when everyone else had turned their backs on you. I'm speaking of Vlad Ogimsky, or specifically, the most lamentable fate that awaits him. What happened to him? The ruthless investigator that she is, Aglaya Lilich has ordered the opening of the termitary that was previously locked down by the Ogimskys. In doing so, she has uncovered a few pieces of valuable evidence. Having interrogated Vlad the Heavy, she has received his full and sincere avowal of guilt. And yet... what was he guilty of? Long story short, when he gave, or pretended to give, the order to lock down the termitary, he was already fully aware of the highly contagious disease that the kin had fallen victim to. Apparently he imagined that some natural traits of the steppe people and their amazing vitality would allow them to do away with the plague on their own. Did he now? Well, keeping in mind how volatile these people may be, the Ogimskys were also striving to protect the town from an onset of blood-crazed plague sufferers. In other words, if they didn't try to hide their decision, it may have been understood and supported, but then Simon's death wrought havoc with their plans. Where are you going with this? In truth, the catastrophic act that killed thousands of people was not a product of rational planning, but rather a hesitancy and reluctance. That's the reason why they were trying to hide the outbreak. Hesitancy and reluctance are quite common in younger people. Younger people? Precisely. It is Vlad the Younger, and not his father, whom we should hold responsible for this terrifying crime. Vlad the Younger gave the order at his own risk, and then kept it a secret from his father. It was already too late when my noble ally and opponent learned of these developments, and so he took the blame for his son. That's a surprise. They say this is what merchant families do. They will happily backstab one another in their everyday affairs, yet when the heir is in danger, they put it all behind and rush to the rescue. They'll stop at nothing to pull the opponent apart then, with their teeth if needs be. What do you want from me? Report this to the governor, or even his wife. Since I heard of some bad blood between you and Alexander. If you won't, I have good reasons to believe the Inquisitor will order Vlad the Heavy's execution. Why can't you tell the governor or his wife yourself? Because they trust the Kanes even less than they trust the Burks. Especially now that Katerina feels what kind of powerful emotions you have stirred in that steely Inquisitor. You left a strong impression on her yesterday. Maria feels it too. What is that facial expression? Really? Indeed. So will you help? Your benefactor? Or shall we say your partner in misfortune? Yes, I'll deal with it.
I'm deadly tired.
That was a weird line. I'm very pleased you've come to see me, dear Haruspex. And he's like, I have no idea how to respond when I hear something like this. I'm like, oh, that's a weird thing to say. The son will not be punished for his father's sins. The real cause of the kin's terrifying demise has been unveiled. Georgi has asked me to inform the governor of these unfortunate events, though I'd rather not walk right into the wolf's open maw, even if the teeth have been removed. Instead, I'll talk to the wolf's wife. We're going to Sabarov.
Have you heard? The military arrives tomorrow.
Such a nasty incident. Is this what you've been looking for? Is that all that you have found? I found the bastards, too. Barely escaped with my whole skin. I promised to reward the risk you took. I kept my word. Very well. 4 grand. It's something.
Don't tell me that's not...
That's all we have for now, though. So, the dialogue's out of order, right? Because it was just revealed to me by Georgi that he's responsible for the termitary, but I had already talked to him about that, because the dialogue was just already available. So that's done. I found it. An interesting anthology, particularly impressive for having been written by hand. However, it is filled with nothing but dead legends, fables, and tales of ridiculous rituals. This is hardly more than a thin layer of foam on the surface of the steppe's fathomless wisdom. So, Vlad the Younger has managed to reach beneath the ground as well. Is he trying to emulate what I am doing? He has found life down below, just like I have. Some creature dwells within these subterranean capillaries. Alien entities thrive in generous blood flow. The ancient wisdom of the kin was concealed there, locked away until the moment I unearthed it. I'm almost amused by the coincidence. Why is Burke just now reacting to Vlad being underground? That's my 3rd time going into that well. Weird. Well, either way, we're on our way to Murky, who's like right around the corner. Murky, and hopefully... Yep, there she is. Hi.
What happened in the abattoir? The earth is all soaked.
I've been told such a scary tale. Who does that? What kind of tale? It's about an orphan and the underground dwellers. The Gekken, the false legs who undermine houses, and about the water from Suga Kadu. What are Gekken? The false legs. They're these ugly little men, like worms. They don't love anyone. The orphan wanted to talk to his parents, and for that, he had to make the false legs love him. They're so horrible. Nasty, nasty. I hate them. Don't cry. Come on. Are you a baby? Or are they really that dangerous? I don't know. You can't tell by the fairy tale, because she hasn't finished it. Oh, it's gnawing at me. Why? Because she called Mommy and Daddy. That's how it was in the tale. What if they come and I miss them? I don't know where they're supposed to arrive to. You only find out the location in the ending. Don't waste your time. Wait, you're manipulating this? You're manipulating children. What are you doing, Clara?
I'm surprised you're still alive.
You're manipulating children with stories about their missing parents? What do you want, Ripper? The Soul and a Halves told me a funny story about crystal flowers or something. How do you even know that tale? No idea. The ending's really funny, though. There's nothing funny about it. It's scary, actually. It couldn't have made them laugh. They were totally hysterical, especially when it got to that prince. They couldn't have laughed. What made them laugh? The prince gets desperate and thinks that a flower like this will never grow in his garden again. Or maybe the living flower is dying because the crystal one took everything from them. The water, the air, and even the light? Is it that bit? No, another one. Well, was it the gardener coming with the scissors and the prince making it so that he'd cut the living flowers instead of the crystal one? Or that terrible flower throwing out seeds, giving birth to a whole new garden? 100 times more beautiful than the previous one, but having no real flowers? There was something else. That's the end. There couldn't have been anything else. They're lying. Maybe. And you know your tales, huh? Did I nail it? I can return to Tai Cheek's daughter and conclude the fairy tale. I don't know what the reaction will be. Maybe Clara made fools of us all. That'd be a problem for me. Let's hope that's not that. Ah. I need to talk to Tai Cheek, and I need to talk to Sabarov's wife. They're both right up there. Sabarov's wife, Tai Cheek. So we're crossing the whole damn map again. Jesus. Yeah, between, I said this in the Deadly Premonition playthrough too. Between, Deadly Premonition and, Pathologic, I definitely find myself just kind of appreciating how compact the map is in Yakuza. Even though they use the same, like, much like this game, they use the same map in most Yakuza games. You know, revamp it or update it a bit, but it's the same layout because they keep doing the same neighborhood in every game. And, despite, even though it's smaller than Deadly Premonition and Pathologic, you kind of appreciate how compact and busy it is, because these travel times, they start to eat at you. This game's definitely more bearable than Deadly Premonition in that, at least in this game, when you go on these long-ass trips, at least you usually know where you're going when you do stuff like this. Deadly Premonition has been kind of a nightmare because when you try to do side quests and stuff— oh, I can't go under the bridge. When you try to do side quests in that game, you're trying to track down characters to talk to, and no one will talk to you, and you have to, like, show up at somebody's house, but only when they are available in their house, which is an arbitrary, weird limitation. That's basically a secret, because who knows when he'll be allowed. It's like trying to do side quests in that game is actually a nightmare. Hello, my favorite character. Oh wait, my least favorite character. How do you do? Would you like to talk about your visions again today? Can't wait. Pick up the fucking cup. It's been there for like 2 weeks. What's wrong with you?
Clara is coming into full power. It only took her a few days to accomplish that, which those two have been trying to do for years.
I can smell it. The damp smell of blood. I can smell it too when I come here. That's the end of that.
Shh. Did you hear that?
Georgi asked me to deliver a message to the governor. Ogrimsky, the senior, has nothing to do with the termitary. It was his son's doing. My husband is no longer in charge of anything. It's up to the kin. They'll judge whichever Ogrimsky comes. The Mother Superior will just say a teensy tiny word, and there'll be no escape. Whichever comes, what do you mean? Well, they want a person. An expiatory sacrifice. Father or son, they don't care. They couldn't tell anyway. A family is a single body for them. You can cut a thief's right hand off, or the left one. It's all the same. Not for Georgi, though. You can't see his scheme. It's political. How is this political? Burke, everything is. Men come and go. The family stays. And what matters is who rules it. Georgi is leaving, so he's setting the table for his heirs. The terrible Maria and Khan. He doesn't need a young, clever, vigorous Ogrimsky ruler. Is Big Vlad easier to handle? He is old. He will die soon, and he's compromised by the termitary deal anyway. Oh, it's a fine scheme. A blow that will hit everyone. My husband, too. It was him he sent you to. It's him he's planning to hold responsible later. Oh, Georgi, Georgi. It's a scheme that would befit Simon. What should I do? Leave us alone. I've seen through his game straight away. Go to the mother. Let the kin devour whoever they want. It's all over anyway. Over. Let everyone choose how they die at least. Farewell, Katerina.
We're in a lot.
So she sees straight through the scheme, because she's of the opinion, at the very least. Is there a way through here? Oh yeah, that top area would kind of work. She's of the opinion that he just wants to get rid of the younger Vlad. He says the younger Vlad's the one that did it. Older Vlad's taking credit for it because he wants to taking blame for it to shield him. And he wants to, whether that's true or not, it's probably true. Yeah, I think it was verified as being true, actually, in the previous timeline. But, he wants people to see through that, and for the proper person to die, because that kills the bloodline of his foe. Not because he wants to see justice done. Damn it. I forgot to go between the houses. I hate this part of town. I really do just detest it. There's so many fences in every direction all the time. And they know you constantly want to go to the termitary. The termitary is an important location that they constantly send you back to in this game. But those damn fences block all the obvious paths. So you have to very carefully navigate. It's one of the only areas of town I don't have, like, specifically memorized. Like, for entire chunks of town, I can pretty much just navigate without checking the map at all anymore, as people predicted. But it's this damn termitary area where the walls are so weird and block off so many paths that I always have to double check which way through at the fear of losing a lot of time otherwise. You could just not notice me, Mr. Rat. Bandages? No. No bandages. At this point we're going to the Tai Chi twice, right? Yeah. Yep. Well, that worked out pretty well. The quests have coalesced upon one NPC. You chasing me. Guys, punch the rat for me. Punch him. Sneevil rat. Careful, you punch him though, you better be wearing gloves or you might get a splinter. The dumbest joke I've ever said. That's literally impossible. I've said too many stupid jokes. I have said the dumbest shit to fill air on this thing. And many other previous things. Especially stuff where I recorded when I was a dumber person. That's the benefit of doing this for like 7 years, is you literally were a dumber person when you started. And hopefully you don't regress into becoming a dumber person again. Who knows? Some people do.
They never show me anything. They won't let me outside.
Did you bring the books, the person responsible for Did you bring 2 books, the person responsible for locking you up here? Yes, you're slick. Slick, why? You know who's to blame. Well, so do you most likely, don't you? I don't. Not for sure anyway, but I think it's Fat Vlad. Do you want to know for sure? Of course I do. Well, I'm not telling you. I mean, last time it proved to be a bad idea. Vlad the Younger seemed important before. He's probably important again. The Bachelor pled with me to save Vlad the Younger. But Big Vlad's the one that gave me the place I'm staying in, which is easy to forget. At the beginning of the game he was a big deal, but actually he's, throughout the campaign, has had much less involvement. I think he was more involved in the Bachelor story, strangely, even though he's the one that shelters the Haruspex. I don't know. I feel like I should reinforce Big Vlad's perspective because it's I got two things going for me. One, Georgi wants Big Vlad to young Vlad to die, but it's a political scheme. The Big Vlad wants Big Vlad to die. Well, I mean, Big Vlad wants everyone to live in his family, but given this choice, he would like to be eliminated so that his son can live. So it's his wish to die, and the Bachelor is begging me to keep Vlad the Younger alive. So everything, all the people I care about point towards me wanting to save Vlad the Younger and sacrifice Vlad the Older. The only person that wants me to kill Vlad the Younger is Georgi Kane, which he and the woman I just talked to are like my least liked two characters in the entire game, probably. Yeah, definitely my least liked characters are Georgi and Katerina. Insufferable. So you're right, it's Big Vlad. Right, doesn't matter who did what, he's head of the family, so it's him who is to bear responsibility. Dad did that for me too. Is that so?
So, the lady that came here decided to look into the abattoir. Nothing good will come out of this.
Here's how the story of the Icy Prince ends. Oh, do tell. As time went by, the crystal flower became the greediest in the garden. It drank all the earth's juices, but most importantly, it also snatched all the sunlight. The garden became so dark that even the air had turned cold. Oh. Then what did the prince do when the time came to pick the crystal flower? The prince executed a crafty plan. He engineered it so that the gardener would pick a different flower instead of the crystal one. Yeah, that sounds right. It's all been coming to that. So did the flower end up all alone in the empty garden? Yes, it blossomed, spread its seed all over the place, and a new garden grew, 100 times more beautiful than the one before. So that's how it is. Yes, that sounds right. What a bad prince. How did he why did he have to kill why did he have to kill the simple flowers? Let me into the abattoir, mother. Come in. I'm going to fall asleep now. Then I'll go there myself and crack the great pit open. Do you know where it is? Follow the passage between the buildings and you'll find yourself right by the pit. Thank you, mother. We're in. What's the status of the other quest? No. Let Big Vlad die. I should inform Georgi of my decision. So that comes out up in every campaign, apparently. The passage into the abattoir is clear. Taichik's power is immense. I hope the girl herself is unaware of the true extent of her influence. While she is still a small child, the kin will go out of their way to fulfill her every whim, pampering her as they did her grandmother. It's about to be 6 p.m. We might be making good time. I never really know. I always vaguely gauge nonsensically how I think the day is going, but I never know how long the quest is, so it's just a crapshoot. It's just guesses in the dark. We're going to the abattoir, which was my goal. The big question basically is, am I supposed to just talk to him and ask the question, and that's all that today's quest was just asking one question? But then, you know, a bunch of logistical crap got in my way because Taichik is just a pain in my ass all the time. She single-handedly gates my access to the most important location of my campaign, but she herself is immature and full of all these annoying conflicts and problems and is willing to obstruct my work. Not even for... She's willing to obstruct me not even for political reasons, but just to do whatever she feels like. Like, of all things... This question of which of the Vlads to kill was not why she was holding... That wasn't the favor she wanted. She just wanted the rest of like a fairy tale. And that itself was an undertaking. Because I had to go all the way to Capella and then to Clara, who's at Murky. That's a lot. My goal is to find Mr. Foreman. Y'all are in a hurry, apparently. I think I basically just have to book it to the opposite end. I don't think there's a short path. such a mixture of natural looking passages and artificial looking ones. Like those vertical columns, that's naturally formed from like water running over limestone and stuff like that. But then you have the giant pit, which is man-made because it has all those hard edges. And it seems to be like they were specifically digging down into the rock. I keep getting worried I'm gonna walk into a dead end, but no, yeah, we're still going the right way. How you doing?
She gave me these legs to make up for the crippled ones.
You come here often, kindred one. Do you seek to be employed by Boss Vlad? The plague is fierce, but we must not abandon work. Perhaps you are an Adong. Bring us a bull then. Perhaps you are a butcher. Kill one for us then, and prepare us meat for transportation. I want to ask you where the blood you gave me yesterday came from. Yet you will not get an answer. Why should I share this knowledge with you? You cannot take it, and it will rip you apart. I am the son of Isidore Burke, not some... It's not an Oyun's place to talk to me about knowledge. I see before me someone who calls himself son of Burke. You haven't accepted his inheritance, and are therefore unworthy of his name. Lie. I have accepted my father's inheritance in full. Have you accepted your father's duty, and the obligation to save the lives that he gave an oath to keep? I have. Have you accepted his knowledge? Have you accepted his lines? Have you learned how to tell the dark from the light, the damp from the crumbling, the scorched from the cold, and the dead from the living? I have. Have you accepted his possessions, his house, his flesh, his food, and his signs? I have. Then show me the thing that he used to draw the lines on the ground when he was opening them for a ritual. Where is his ude, which should be hanging around your neck proudly so that everyone can see who's in charge of the lines of the Burke Taglur? I don't know what you're talking about. I will only speak to you when you have your father's ude hanging from your neck. Seems like something has been concealed from you by the one that passed the inheritance to you. I'll be back, Elder One. Shit. Oh no. This means I didn't claim the entirety of my father's inheritance. Symbols everywhere I look, there are signs to be deciphered. Did Aspity lie to me? I can't believe it. But then why do they all avert their eyes whenever I mention my inheritance? Shit. I've gone like 2/3 of the way through the campaign not having my inheritance still. The thing I started off with, basically. Aspity, you pain in the ass. Also, I'm abundantly aware of the fact that, like, location-wise, this place is like the polyhedron. This run has made it, like, the first walk to this place was explorative, but now I'm realizing this place is like the polyhedron, where it's just a very long walk to talk to my one NPC. And there's nothing to do in between there, and no variation. I just have to, and in this case, it's a little bit more, because I have to remember the path. Which isn't complicated, but just try to find where each hole in the wall is that takes you to the next room. It actually might be a longer walk than the staircase of the polyhedron.